Hello, I'm Jerry Fort. I've got a rant. I have to rant about something. And something this morning that's had me kind of riled up all day is my son Jeremy. He got a new mattress from Mathis Brothers. Very expensive mattress. He's been having trouble sleeping. He's had this mattress, his old mattress, for many years. So he, of course, with his own money, he bought him a new mattress. So, so they scheduled the delivery for today between 9:30 and 10:30, and called about 9, said that they're ready to go ahead and come on if we're wanting them to. So they go ahead and come on, and they get here about close to 9:30, I think, somewhere around there. So they come in, they bring Jeremy a new pillow. It comes with the bed, with the mattress, I guess. So, I guess they already brought the mattress up there. It's still in the plastic, and asked if we want them to remove it. Nice guys, you know. So they asked, do you want us to go ahead and bring it in? Jeremy and I already got the old mattress off and had it in the living room ready for them to take it, right? Okay, so they come in, and I guess I'm standing in there, and they're talking, and they're getting ready to take the mattress out. So we're at that point because they're getting ready to bring it in. I guess the guy wants to see where it's going to be going. He looks at where it's going to be going, and he looks at the mattress, and he sees, they look for any little tiny fuzz or anything that looks off on a mattress, whether it be, lint or rut or whatever. And they look it over really well. And he finds in the crease what I've seen so many times in my 11 years of property management are carpet beetle larvas. You guys have probably seen them too. They're on the walls. They crawl really slow. They're little fuzzy things, have little lines on them. They're carpet larvas. Your beetles get in your house. They lay eggs and they run off, You don't see the babies until later, later on down the road. But in the 11 years that I was in property management, I experienced bed bugs twice. And it's quite the procedure. They have to come in and spray for those. And I have to get all my stuff out of there. Anything, all my bags, I have to inspect everything. It's a process. And bed bugs, once they're in your bedroom, they're everywhere. They spread. They come from other apartments, wall to wall. They make their way over. And usually it's people that have moved in that bring them with them. So let's fast forward here just a little bit. I'm in the living room, and I'm opening the door so they can take the old mattress out. They've already brought the new one in and took it into the kitchen and leaned it up against the wall right behind me. So I'm standing out there with the door open, ready for them to bring it out. I don't think there's anything else, to talk about. So yeah, the one guy's in the living room with me for a minute, and when I hear they're getting ready to go, I go open the door, like I said. So I'm standing out there and I'm looking around and I'm waiting. I got the door open for them, make it convenient. Now I'm standing out there waiting. I'm looking around outside, just kind of taking my time. I look in and I'm like, what is going on in there? The guy's got a flashlight. He's looking at the mattress. I'm like, oh, he's probably looking for some kind of serial code or something on the mattress. I don't know why. I don't work for a furniture company, so I don't know if there's a reason why they would want that information on the old mattress. So he's looking at something, and I'm like, I just kind of shrug it off. something to do with serial numbers, probably. So the other guy comes out. He says, "Oh, we're not going to be taking the mattress. We found a bed bug." I'm like, "A bed bug?" He says, "Yeah, there's one on this mattress here, and there's some crawling on the frame in the back in his room." I'm like, "What?" I come in, I'm looking, and I see it there. I'm like, "That's not a bed bug. That looks like one of the carpet beetle larvas." And I try to get a hold of it, and it falls out of my hand and falls on the floor. I'm trying to find it, so I can pick it up, because they're smushy. They're smushy. Now, bed bugs are a little bit harder shelled. They're not like a larva. They're a beetle. They're like a beetle type thing. They're an actual beetle type creature. So a beetle, the beetle carpet larva, they're smushy. They're more like a caterpillar type of a tiny caterpillar larva. So I'm like, what? So I guess in the midst of the time where he's saying we can't take it, okay, we're done, we're ready to go, they go. I'm still looking on the frame, like, what is he seeing? What's crawling around? I got my DeWalt light, and I'm looking, and I see another little tiny carpet beetle larva, and I pick it up. That's a carpet beetle larva. Is this what they're talking about? I said, they don't have the experience or the knowledge to know the frickin' difference between a carpet beetle larva and a bed bug. It's like they're assuming that we're dumb enough that we don't know what a bed bug looks like, so we're going to take their word for it. You know what I mean, Butterbeans? So they get away with not having to bother hauling off the old one. They went out into the truck and high-fived each other. Hey, we did it. Another one we don't have to worry about hauling off another mattress. If in fact he believes it's a bed bug, okay, he was in here in the kitchen. He was spraying himself with alcohol. Oh, he's all worried. And I'm like, I don't know yet for the fact that he's not right. I have to go look for this for myself. But boy, they hightailed it out of here. Like, they didn't want to wait around. So if it's a bed bug, we're going to have to take all his bedding out and wash it or throw it away. They didn't give us any advice of, well, you got bed bugs, here's what you need to do. This is a situation where it's pretty serious. Bed bugs, they'll bite the person in the bed. Children is where it mostly ends up. And the kids don't know what's going on, so they don't think to look, they're tired, they're going to bed. And in the night, the bed bugs crawl up and they suck their blood. And then they end up crawling up the wall, and they leave little blood spots on the walls. Have any of you ever experienced this? So when I go in to paint apartments back in the day, back in the 90s, back in the 2010s, 2015s, back in the days, that's what I experienced. I come in and I would see them on the walls. The carpet beetle larvae, you see them on the walls as well. I know what those are, I just knock them off, or I crush them and just get rid of them, because I got to paint the wall. I don't want to paint those into the wall, right? So yeah, it's a serious situation. My wife didn't say, yeah, he said it's a serious situation. Here's what he said we need to do. Here's his advice. Take all the bedding out, wash it, check the rest of the house. They're not just going to stay confined into his bedroom. They're going to make their way out, and I'm going to see him in here. It's like these guys, or this one guy, bet on the chance that we're ignorant enough to not know about what bed bugs are. I wished I wasn't standing out there for the long period of time I was opening the door and heard him say that, because then You know, bed bugs are shaped like little tiny leaves. They're kind of spade shaped. Carpet beetle larvae are little tiny, elongated, tiny caterpillars, fuzzy, with lines across their back. You look it up. I put in my search, here's what these guys have not done, or have done but don't care, and try to get out of this situation. Bed bug compared to carpet beetle larvae, and it shows them side by side. And it's obvious that these weren't that, you know? Had me riled up after I heard all this. And when I come out of looking in his bedspread, his box springs, for other ones, because he said they were crawling around. Well, that would be obvious. I had to really hunt for the little carpet beetle larvae in the metal frame part of where the box springs goes. It took me a while to find one actually alive, moving around. They come in and they get in places underneath your beds and get into areas where they can, eventually make it to your wall, and they just live there until they can come to maturity and be, full-blown beetles. But like I said, if it was in fact a bed bug, and he knew that for sure, then he would need to give us some advice. If we're so ignorant, which he thinks we were, or all of us, my son and my wife, they don't know about bed bugs. They don't know what they look like. They've never experienced them. I have. So I'm the one, not in there, I got a cramp in my thumb. Is that crazy? I'm the one not in there with experience when he says it. So now we're burdened with a mattress to get rid of. He called back to the office and said, we're not bringing back the other mattresses, got bed bugs. These people have bed bugs. In a way, it kind of makes you feel like they're saying we're dirty people or something. We're dirty enough that we have bed bugs and we've just ignored it and just left them to survive in his room all these years. Jeremy would have said, hey mom, dad, I've got little bites on my body, and I'm finding little bugs on my bed. And then it would be a sure thing that, yeah, we have bed bugs. But that's not the case. And I know that because I know what to look for. If I see anything crawling on his bed or on him, I'm going to know what it is, and then it's going to be a situation. But it just really got under my skin. Really did. It's obvious these guys, if he was authentically sure of himself of what that was, or just assumed it was because of where it was located, the carpet beetle larvae, they like material too. They eat into it. They'll make little holes. That's what they do. So yeah, you're going to find those. So these guys need to be educated on the possibilities of what you could find. Jeremy just paid a lot of money for this mattress in here. A lot of money for a really nice mattress so he can sleep comfortably. So what did we get? Yeah, the delivery and everything was good, but when these guys come in, the one, mostly is the one talking about it, the other one just, went along with his story that's a bed bug. They get away with, they need to be educated. Like I said, if they're authentically ignorant of what they look like, they should have looked, if he's so sure, then he's seen the picture of them, right? He knows what they look like. But it's almost like he goes under the assumption, he's trying to go under the assumption that we don't know what they look like and that we're not going to look into it. We're just going to take his word for it. What if that's the case? What if we don't know what to do? The bed bugs populate and take over his entire room because they didn't tell us what to do about it. That it's a serious situation. You need to get a handle on this. Oh man. I had to get this off my chest. My wife and son have already heard me ranting about this, but just talking about it to you guys just brought it all back and just got me more and more aggravated. You know, Mathis Brothers is a high dollar mattress store. And they got guys like this. Pretty disappointed. Jeremy kind of wrote a review in his own words about it. I was thinking about doing the same, but if he's already done one, I don't know. I think he even said my dad was in property management for 11 years. He knows what it looks like, and that's not what they were. But I don't know how detailed he got. Makes me want to go down there and talk to the management about it. Because when you got delivery guys that won't, I mean, they're going to find bed bugs in some of the houses they deliver in. I guarantee you they will. But in those places, if they do the same way that they did us, and they don't give them any advice about what to do, we don't know how serious it is. We know that, most people, or the people that don't have really a whole lot of knowledge about it, know that bed bugs, can be serious enough to the point where they'll, get on you. Kind of like what a tick will. But they don't know how bad they can get infested and just be everywhere and really put a lot of sores on you. Most of your kids, they're unaware of things, Getting to the point where I'm starting to ramble now. Okay, you guys get the point. Really disappointing with the finalization of this delivery of this mattress and these guys. I don't know how far I would have gotten with arguing with the dude, I mean, is it my word against his? In this case, is the customer always right? I could prove it if he's willing to stand there long enough for me to show him, but I just don't know. But before I could, bring my argument in, they were already gone. They didn't hang around. Well, they just got out, but okay. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drop it there. I already ranted for almost 19 minutes. But let me know if you understand what I'm talking about. I'd be curious if I'm just the only one. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. See you on the next rant. There'll be another one. Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.